Okay, so this is take 3. Hopefully, 3 times the charm. I am Chris Seydel, and today is the first episode of Seydel Sits Down with my good friend Angus Kirby. Angus, how you doing?
Hey man, I'm really good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Now, we've discussed this before, but for the sake of clarity, Angus is a filmmaker. And since this is a podcast predominantly about movies, I thought it would be fun to just get a director's perspective on just the film industry and movies and stories a lot as well. So, I've got my mate Angus here, and we're going to do some questions. So, question 1.
Yo.
Just as a director... Actually, no, we're going to start with just story. When you watch a film,
Yeah.
how do you approach it? Like, what... Are there certain things you look for? Or...
There's usually one moment that'll win me over with a film that I really like, or there'll be a sequence, or something will happen in the first maybe like the first hour or so, that kind of just makes me go, all right, fuck yeah, I'm in this. Like, I'm engaged now. I'm really active in this.
Any specific examples jump to mind?
Yeah. I guess the opening 10 minutes of The Long Goodbye, which is a Robert Altman movie from the early 70s, was kind of a bit of a forgotten... It's like a lost gem that has kind of been rediscovered on DVD and things. And the opening 10 minutes of that, it's a detective story, but the opening 10 minutes is just a sequence where the detective character feeds his cat at 3:30 in the morning. But it kind of sets everything up in a kind of thematic way. But the way it's put together and the way it's done, it's shot... really faded 70s postcard. Vilmos Sigmund did the cinematography. It was did a lot of great work in that era, but also all throughout, till he died. It was great. And they did something where they flashed the film, which kind of exposed the film to more light in the processing, and it kind of made everything kind of pastel and washed out. And the camera's always moving, creeping along on dollies and zooms, and it's really smooth.
Do you think that's one of the benefits of shooting on film? Like, it's a physical object which you can manipulate?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think there's a depth you get because film is a physical thing. There's something about when you're capturing film, but especially when you project on film, there's a depth you get from putting light through a physical object that I don't think you get with digital. Digital projection's kind of flat.
Have you worked with film?
We did a bit of 16mm stuff back in film school, which was really cool. And film is fucking great.
Yeah.
It's a great medium, and the whole digital thing is wonderful too. But it really is it's a beautiful way to shoot stuff.
What is it about film that you admire so much? What attracts you?
It looks better.
Yeah.
You get beautiful images without the manipulation, because with digital you have to manipulate the image a lot usually to get it to look just right, but film, you don't do that much to it. It's a case by case thing, but film is just it is something really beautiful about the imagery you get out of it, because of the chemicals in it, because of the grain and the silver, the grain structure and everything, and the different types of stock you could do. There's just it looks great. It looks best. I think it looks better.
Do you think it's also a respect to the medium thing?
I mean...
I don't want to say doing it properly, but
Yeah, I get what you mean, but it's kind of, I don't think so. I just think it looks better. I don't think digital looks as good.
Well, just on that, just returning back to what you were saying about you were shooting some stuff in film school.
Yeah.
So you're out of film school now.
Yeah.
Where did you go when you were in film school?
Where did I go? Oh,
Yeah.
Griffith Film School.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a plug.
Oh, man. Too much fucking advertising for them. I have done.
Yeah, dude. Yes, you have done some ads for them. What was that experience like?
Oh, well, I was doing my honours and they commissioned an ad. It was like an online ad. And we did it. I got to write it and direct it, which was cool. And they liked it. We did something that was kind of weird. And then they just kept asking for more, and eventually, when I graduated, they commissioned a bunch. So I kind of had a job for a little while.
Had that
Nice. It was nice, and we got to do some cool, weird shit.
And I've seen in those ads, there's a wolf, right?
Yeah, there's a dude in a wolf, like a wolf suit. Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
I really wanted to do like a. I mean, it was just like, how far could we push the envelope? You know, could I put a bestiality thing in there? I mean, if they don't say no. They didn't say no, so the wolf was popular. I think it was just like we needed a weird costume, and it was like the right one at the right price. You know, it was pretty cheap. It just looked right. I can't actually remember the exact reason why it went in. I wanted to give the one character who's in it someone to bounce off who couldn't necessarily talk.
Yeah.
And also be a romantic interest, but you know, not, and you know, yeah, something that if you just hinted at that idea would be enough to get a laugh.
And it was very funny, dude. I actually really liked how funny it was,
Oh,
and
thanks,
I don't.
man.
I'm not really one to like giggle at things. Like I'm a very internal. Like when it comes to humor,
Yeah.
it's very tasting, and so, but some of those gags, like when there was that photo of the whiteboard and you had like all the list.
Things that are legitimately overwhelming. Thank you. Yeah. Well, I mean, that stuff was fun, and I'm like grateful to have been able to do it because they got like a decent amount of views on Facebook, and it's kind of a good thing to say, hey, I did this.
And like you've done more stuff than that. You've done a few short films at this point?
Yeah, I've done a few shorts. The last two have kind of been to festivals around the place, and then we just finished shooting and nearly finished editing a new one.
What's it called?
It's called Now a Minor Motion Picture.
Oh yeah.
And it's a mockumentary.
Mockumentary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like I had a thing. It was like Grey Gardens meets something else. It was Grey Gardens meets something else. Fuck. I'm trying to remember now. Shit. Shit. It was like Grey Gardens meets some kind of stupid comedy. Stoner comedy or some bullshit.
Dude, I was in that movie.
You are in the movie for a shot. You have a shot, yeah.
Yeah. And I have.
Thank you.
Did you include the line?
The line's in there, yeah.
Yes.
The line's in there.
I have to say, like, that's the first time I've ever been on a film set and like involved in a film, like at least a professional.
I mean,
somewhat like.
I guess everyone working on it was like were professional, like
a well orchestrated,
work professionally.
You know,
So
well put together film.
Yeah.
Something with intention, and I I really admired the way that you sort of play it out, and then you hope for the best, and then like you can feel if something feels right.
You
like,
can,
in the
right?
moment. Yeah,
you totally can. And it's interesting, like, because everyone on that film, you know, all the kind of, I guess,
the crew,
the heads of creative, so the producer, DOP, sound person, everyone else, all know each other and have known each other for years, and we've all kind of been through film school together, and trust each other. So you can kind of do a thing where we're just gonna set this shot up, hope for the best, and see what happens, and you don't necessarily you don't worry about it, and they trust me as a director to say, no, we should just try this.
And is that something that you've started, well, at least did in this and not before? Like,
I think this is the most freewheeling we've been about it, because the last two shots have been really heavily scripted, and there's been a bit of improv, but not a lot, and it's kind of it's a bit suffocating sometimes.
can you see that on screen? Like, can you see it in other people's work on screen? Like, can you see a shot, or like watch a movie, and you're like, this feels sort of put together, or like, can you
this
sense...
feels well put together. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can feel one of the. That's why I love people who are. I don't like the word auteur. I think that's another thing. I think it's been misinterpreted and kind of overdone. But that's why I like people who write and direct, who are, you know, people like Pedro Almodovar, and also the great directors. So, you know, people like Howard Hawks and Lubitsch does this really well, where you just feel like you're in safe hands when you're watching the story unfold. That there's a really steady hand guiding you through everything, and everything you're seeing leads to or is connected to the next thing and the previous thing in a way that feels right, and it feels like you've got a forward momentum, and you're and you're watching something where the person making the decisions is really confident, knows what they're doing, and is taking you on some sort of narrative journey. Because that's so fucking exciting. Because when you have someone who can do that and then make it unpredictable, it's wonderful. And that's what I think Pedro Almodovar does really well.
Interesting. I'm struggling to think of a question right now, but that was beautiful.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, I mean, it's part of like what I aspire to as someone who wants to direct and write. It's that thing of trying to really, like, because a lot of people want to direct, and I think a lot of people do it or want to do it, not really understanding how intricate it can be. And I think, and there have been great video essays about this on YouTube about the not fundamentals of directing, but the really nitty gritty of blocking scenes, and directors who do it really well, and also are having a reason for everything that they're doing. Every camera movement and frame has a real intent and purpose to it. And they'll do, there's like the Spielberg one. Spielberg shoots a lot of scenes in one shot. You'd never notice it, and it's kind of an old Hollywood technique of efficiently getting through a scene that's like a minute or two long. And it's, the staging's here, you've got 3 characters, and one will move over here, and the camera will kind of twist, or might not even need to move, and you get a mid, a close-up, and a wide all in one shot because the characters are moving around. And that's really, shit like that is what I aspire to, and I also think that not enough people really understand when they say they want to be a director.
And I think I really enjoy that as an audience member.
Yeah.
Because just like, I've never written anything that's been produced, but I imagine if I would, I'd want everybody to be having a role. Like, a film is a collaborative process, and like, I want the actors to do their job as much as I am. So I'd want the director to open it up and let them act, let them actually perform and show it. Don't just chop a scene up like a motherfucker and show me the same shot 3 different ways.
Well, that's like, also like, it's a beautiful thing when you're a director and you don't know what to do, because you've got like 6 other people there you can ask.
Really?
You got all the actors in the scene. You got the producer. So. You got. You don't have to. It's kind of good sometimes not to know everything about a scene or everything that a scene needs. I think you got to do your homework and understand why it's there and what the core of it is and what kind of purpose it's meant to serve within the movie. But maybe something's not working, and then you kind of go, well, it's really like great thing about directing is that, well, if you surround yourself with good people, then it's fine to just say, hey, what do you think about this? Like, you got any ideas?
And is that an attitude that you have adopted since you've been making films, or is that something you started with? Like, what's your relationship as a director?
I think only in the last couple of films it's been like opening up to trust. Because it's like you got to know people for a little while, and you got to have done a bit of stuff with them to kind of get the shorthand and understand how they work. And also you got to like them.
And I like this song too. Like, I listen to this one often because it's just so dope.
Yeah, it's good.
Dude, the sitar is such a great instrument.
I love the sitar.
Yeah.
I want to do something with sitar better.
They're like super expensive too.
Oh, they're fucking hard to play too, man.
Yeah, because you've got like, I think it's 2 sets of strings on top of each other.
Yeah, you gotta press them down like crazy. It's all fucked up. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't do it. I'm too much of. I can't even play guitar that well. You need someone who's really learned the sitar.
That's why I want a drum machine, because it's like instant music,
Yeah, instant music.
Yeah.
Oh shit. But it's like, okay, I'm really lucky. I'm surrounded by great people who are fantastic at what they do. We're really just insanely good at what they do, and we're all friends, and want to be doing this with each other professionally in the future.
Do you think you'll carry on as a unit?
I hope so. There's people I don't want to let go of.
Is that a thing recurring through like the film industry, that there are certain crews?
I think
sort of
to a degree. I think there are definitely, because it is small, so you get that a little bit.
Everybody knows everybody.
A little bit, yeah. But I think there are people who work together because they gel, and that's a great thing to find. If you can find it, you hold on to it, because it's it's awful working with people who, you know, aren't good at what they do, or not that they're not good at what they do, but if you don't see eye to eye with them on how things should go, or if there are two very different ideologies happening, that can be a total nightmare.
Has that happened to you before?
Not really, thankfully. I don't think I've directed. I've been really lucky. But also, you got to be ruthless. Like, you know, I've worked with people I wanted to work with.
That's right. And do you think it depends on the job? Like, do you think there are roles that are more versatile than others, and you don't mind? Because as a director, you probably want good people around you consistently.
Yeah.
But like, could a director of photography like sort of suffer the joy of working with another person, like, and not necessarily needing to stick with her?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
I'm getting to my point.
Yeah,
eventually.
no, I get you. I get what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. You know, because if you have a good assistant camera, that's great. And then I guess maybe, look, man, I mean, I've never made anything longer than 15 minutes, really. I'm still very, like, I'm barely even an emerging person, emerging filmmaker. But, you know, on shorts, you're only there for a couple of days. If you get someone who you get along with and is good, then, you know, if you've got that in an AC and an assistant camera and a gaffer and a grip, then you're okay, you know. But if you're on a longer thing, if you're on like a feature film or a TV show, you really want to have. That's when it's like it really matters, because you're with those people for a long time, and you're doing something that's, you know, you're concentrating really intensely for like 12 hours a day, and it's a creative process as well, and that all of these things just kind of add up to something that really drains you if you aren't surrounded by people who you really click with.
There's actually something I do want to ask you, just about the idea of creating something.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel? Because I finished a book the other day.
Yeah.
And there was a passage in the book that really stuck out to me. The character said something to the effect of, like, too much in, like, these days people just work, and as soon as they, like, do their job, it becomes immediately irrelevant. And, like, we don't really build anything that lasts.
Yeah.
But, like, with a film, that's like a hard copy. Like, it's evidence of a collection, I guess, of work, you know? And you can refer back to that. Like, how does that make you feel that you do that, I guess, for a living? Like,
I mean, not
you
really
definitely
for
get paid for it.
I'm getting paid sometimes.
Oh, right.
Not for the films I make, not yet. One day. Yeah, no, it feels great. It's a great feeling. When we've made the shorts and I've been directing, and you hit something good, and you're with everyone, it's just the best, man. It's like I feel like I'm where I'm meant to be, or where I ought to be. That's what keeps me going and doing this stuff and building to a career, hopefully. Because it feels great. It's more like it's being able to say, it's like there's an analogy that Robert Altman says. It's like you're going down with a group of people to make a sandcastle at the beach, but you get to keep it.
The castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you get a record of it at the end. But it feels like that. It feels like you're taking a bunch of people down to the beach to make a sandcastle, because the world kind of goes away, and it's great. And then you get to show it to people, and hopefully one or two people come up to you afterwards and say, "Man, I really, really love that. Like that really." Whether it spoke to them, or got a reaction out of them, you know, or whether someone laughs at something really hard. That's great. That's really why, as well.
How do you deal with negative criticism?
It depends on if it's someone saying this is shit, I don't like it, or someone actually giving some interesting feedback. Like, I learnt a lot from both of those kinds of feedback, and sometimes there's elements of, it's never just one or the other, it's usually a bit of, hey, this is shit, and some insight.
Yeah.
You know, you just gotta listen and have a thick skin.
But I think you also have to be open, you know.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's very important.
So there are things that I've had to hear, that have been said, like, pretty bluntly. But good that it was when I was 18 and 19 and not when I'm 26 trying to make a feature.
So do you find that it's important to sort of embrace negative criticism.
Don't embrace it, but definitely learn from it. Because sometimes you just got to be like, no, that's bullshit. It's not what I think. Sometimes you got to stick to your guns if it's really just coming from a person who doesn't would never appreciate what you're doing and wouldn't like the same things that you like and has completely different taste and different ideas about what a story should be or a film should be. Then yeah, sometimes you're just like, well, you're always going to think, like, of course you don't like it. And you're really just giving a value judgment.
What about writing? Let's turn to writing here. I've got a question. Because oftentimes when I'm seeing movies, I've been noticing that a lot of things I've been talking about are like dialogue, specifically exposition.
Yeah.
What's your relationship to exposition?
If I can tell it, if I can show it in a way that's more interesting than someone talking about it, then great. But if someone talking about it is more interesting and pertinent to the story, then sure. That's the thing. It doesn't. Dialogue that reveals information is fine. Expositional. Is that the word? Exposition.
I think so.
Dialogue that is exposition is totally fine. It's when it's bad. It's when it doesn't work. That's when it's shit. And you just got to make it work, man. There's like, there's movies with narrators. That's fine. That can be a really good thing.
Yeah, narrator. I think people shit on narration too.
They do a lot, and it's great. Narration can be great. The Coen Brothers do it really well, and it's been used effectively over To Kill a Mockingbird has great narration that kind of lifts from the book in the right place. I think. I think it's just like I think about writing. I hate script books. I can't read about writing. I don't hate I hate writing about writing. Yeah. I can't stand it. I can't stand script writing books or people talking about script writing.
How do you improve? Would you say?
You just do it and keep doing it and you get people to give their thoughts. But all the theory, all the script writing theory, I just can't fucking stand it. I think it's all kind of stupid to me because it all just comes from cultural ideas and cultural norms more so than actual
like structural merit and
objective merit. And it all depends on the author's frame of reference, because I think that so much our idea of narrative is limited to Western ideas of structure and Western ideas of structure that have come from other places like theatre, but also Greek tragedy. We're still looking at Greek tragedy for story structure in films, like the three act stuff and all that. When that's like a sliver of what's there. You've got all these other interesting things. Like there's all these Japanese structures that are really interesting. That's like I learned about this structure called Kisho Tenketsu, which is a 4-act structure that has no conflict but generates a plot in the story.
How does it work with no conflict? How does the plot...
So what it does? So this is great. All right. So what happens is the first 2 acts introduce and develop an idea or situation, and the third one cuts away to something completely different that we've never seen before, that we don't know has any connection, and then the fourth one connects the two.
Oh.
So there's an example online. It's like a little comic strip, and each frame is like the act.
Yeah.
First one is it's a guy walking down a hallway to a vending machine, and then he puts some money in the vending machine, and then you cut away to someone sitting out in a park on their own, and in the fourth panel, the guy brings 2 drinks to the person, and there's your story. There's your plot. There's no conflict, but it's a story. It's a narrative.
Dude, you could do that in a comic book as well.
You could do it in a film. You could do it, and you don't even have to be the whole film. You could do a sequence that way. But it's just the fact that I don't see that happening. That conversation, from what I know, isn't happening in film.
I wonder
when it should be. Because narrative is so flexible.
And I think that's true. I think we do get really stuck in the rigid 3-act. I know I talk about it ad nauseum.
Yeah, a little. I mean, not that you talk about it, but we do get stuck. Yeah,
we do get stuck. But that sounds really interesting. But I'm curious as to why it probably isn't in the theatre we watch now. I think maybe because Hollywood
doesn't really deal in those sorts
Uh,
of things?
I think it's a bunch of there's a bunch of reasons. It's really complicated, and I don't think it's anyone like it's no one's fault. That's the thing, and it's not like Hollywood is blah 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 blah. There's a lot of shifting gears and a lot of things that influence things that aren't just it's not just like studio execs
Yeah.
who don't know what they're talking about. It's a bunch of things and I actually think there are, from what I've read some recent things, and where was I going with this?
I don't know.
I just didn't want to shit talk studio executives because I feel like it's an
fair.
easy target, and they're actually really intelligent people, from what I've seen.
Well, they must be, right? Like, they produce all these movies.
Yeah, and I think it's just a thing of like they've got people to answer to because of the way the corporate structure is now in the big studios.
Well, talking about independent film,
Yeah.
like, an aspect of that is finance.
Yeah.
Have you dealt with much financing? I know you've only made shorts and whatnot. How do you pay for your shorts?
I've paid for the last couple. We've made them cheap, and it's been okay.
What kind of, if you don't mind, like, what kind of price range?
Oh, the last two we've made for like $1,000.
That's all, really? $1,000,
Yeah.
right?
It's dirt cheap.
Where does that money go? Like,
You feed people and you pay for locations sometimes,
really?
and
Food?
and gear hire.
Oh,
sometimes.
true. What about the act? Do you pay the actors?
No. They're just beautiful people looking to build their portfolio.
Hey, I guess.
And I've been really lucky. There are great actors around who we get who we click with and want to do. And no one's. That's the thing. At the end of the day, no one's. That's not the reason people are doing this line of work. If they're there, they're not here just to get paid. They're here because they have a goal to reach. And
What if you hire an actor from an agency?
no, you pay those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
If they demand, like if they ask to be paid, you either pay them or they don't do the film.
Right. Because I keep seeing that dude who was in Rolling Stone. That guy.
Which guy?
The
JP.
the guy who looks
The
like,
lead.
Yeah, the guy who.
Yeah, he
kinda
does a
like
bunch
you.
of ads. Well, he's run theatre companies and done ads and stuff. So I think that's the thing. You don't get paid to do short films. You're there because you want to build your work and meet filmmakers. Because the people I work with now will probably be the same people I work with in 10 to 15 years, and hopefully by then we're earning proper money for what we do and we're making things on a much bigger scale.
I don't know. Do you have any pictures right now that you're like sort of noodling around?
Not really, because it's usually like I have to wait until I have my idea fully formed, because I have a bunch of disparate things where I'll be like, I want to do something with a character like this, and I might have a location, then I might have a scene or a beat that I want to do, or a kind of an image for an opening shot, and then it's just like slowly gathering that stuff, and then eventually it clicks, and eventually you've got the story, and it works, it makes sense.
Because you use a corkboard, right?
Yeah, I have a little scene board,
Yeah.
and so it's just like you write a little corkboard and your scene cards and stuff, and that was something, I went to a talk that Rolf de Heer did, and that's how he talked about how he made things a lot easier for him to see scene by scene everything set out before you start writing a script, and it's good. It really helps, I think.
Do you just sort of like have, like if you have scattered ideas, do
Yeah.
you sort of just put them in an order that they might appear, and then just fill in the blanks progressively?
Actually, no,
or
I
like...
usually won't start doing that until I've got the idea pretty fully formed. I'll be taking notes, and it'll be like a scene where this happens, and this character did this, and this shot maybe, or this idea, or this bit of music. Yeah.
How do you go with like incorporation of theme? Like, is theme something that? Because I know with me when I
Yeah.
plot stuff, theme is something that comes later.
Oh yeah.
And then I backtrack and I'm like, where can I sort of intertwine this theme?
Yeah, I don't think I think about it. The theme usually comes out at the end.
A lot of like the germs of your ideas, where do they come from? Like, because sometimes for me, it's a lot of like music inspires me
Yeah.
for ideas. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes titles.
Yeah.
Sort of, does
No,
something.
yeah, same. Music, maybe like an anecdote or something that would be interesting. Not like literally just take it and put it in a script, but like the idea around it.
Yeah.
Like there might be an anecdote. I hear a story or something happens to me, and like the idea of it might be interesting. I'll try and like take that and put it into something, put it into some kind of situation, other story.
Dude, I had this idea for a play.
Yeah.
Because I want to write a play.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a different script structure.
Yeah.
Than a screenplay. And it's about these roommates. They make like a deal, and then one of them owes something to the other.
Yep.
And then just before he has to pay it back, the one who it's owed to says, "By the way, it's for your soul now." Like, extended the deal. He's like, "What are you talking about?" Turns out he's the devil. But he like assumed he knew.
He assumed he knew. Oh my god.
He's like, "It's not my fault you didn't know. You never asked. And I'm not going to tell you."
And I'm not going to tell you.
And then so the whole play is like, he doesn't want to take it willingly, even though he probably will.
Yeah, okay.
So he's like, I want you to understand why I take souls and like what I do with them. And it just becomes like a really intense conversation about
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then because I was watching this thing, Matt Landis like was just sort of
Oh yeah, I like
tips.
his stuff.
Do you like Matt Landis?
I like his little video blogs he does. Yeah.
I like that he picks up on like odd things about movies that not a lot of reviewers do.
Yeah.
Like, John Wick 2, he said like...
Oh yeah, no woman speaks for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
It's kind of weird.
That's so weird.
And like I did watch John Wick recently, like again.
Yeah.
And you've seen it, right?
I haven't.
You haven't seen it?
No.
The whole conceit is built up on...
I know the story.
Like his wife dies suddenly.
Yeah.
Then he gets a dog from her, and then it gets killed.
Yeah.
But like, I think the execution of the whole wife thing is rushed. It's obviously rushed. It would have been nice to get to know her.
Yeah.
I found my wallet, cool. Because I thought I'd lost this. But I think it's more so about the destination in that film than the journey. Like what it is that you get as opposed to how you get there is more important.
Yeah.
I think that's justifiable sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll have to watch it and make up my mind. But,
what's your thoughts on Keanu Reeves?
I like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I think, he gets, he's not... I mean, he takes deadpan to a new level. But that can be a great thing. And also, Bill and Ted... Anyone who can do Bill and Ted and The Matrix, you can't say they don't have range. Really. If he can do both of those movies, then
Have you seen
no matter how little he moves his face, he's got range.
Have you seen his Shakespeare stuff?
No.
Yeah,
I saw him in Dracula, though.
I haven't seen Dracula.
It was a bit stiff.
Yeah. He puts on an English accent in there.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
That's
I don't know, a bit of a misstep, I think. But Speed kicks ass.
It's a hell of a premise.
It is a hell of a premise. It's also got a great cast. Those action movies that work have really great casts. Like, fucking Dennis Hopper, man. One of the best lines I've ever heard from Dennis Hopper is, he's holding a bag of money. And he says, and Keanu Reeves calls him crazy. And he says, "Nah, man, poor people are crazy. I'm eccentric." And he holds up this, bag of cash and then, runs away.
Because he's holding a dead man switch or something.
Yeah, the dead man switch for the bomb, yeah. So good, man. Dennis Hopper as a bad guy in a film is always great.
Is he retired now?
He's dead, man.
Oh, he's dead?
Yeah, he died a couple of years ago, I think.
Fuck.
He wasn't old, but he'd had a wild time.
There have been a lot of celebrity deaths, especially in the past year.
It's only gonna get worse.
I know, because we've kind of reached that time now where all the greats
they're
are reaching the age of death. But Bill Paxton died.
That was actually a bit of a surprise, yeah.
He was so young.
Yeah, he was in his 60s, right?
Yeah. And I thought he was fine. But apparently there was complications with surgery.
Yeah, it's bad luck.
Bad surgery. I tell you.
I've never had surgery.
Never?
Never. I've never been put under.
Have you broken bones?
No.
Interesting. I don't know. I think it's something that...
I hope I never do it. I don't have to. Because now I'm at the age where I'm if I do it now, it's been built up.
Hassle.
It's been built up, and it's a real hassle.
Yeah. I think preferably breaking your arm would be better. If you had to break something.
I don't want to break anything to do with my hands.
Legs are annoying because it depends on what leg, but you can't drive if it's your right foot unless you want to switch with your left.
Yeah.
But you do get sympathy.
It's true.
You do get elevator rides and stuff. But you get I had a moon boot. For a stretch. Yeah, I don't know.
Should we go back to movies?
Yes. Dude, what have you been watching recently? Like, tell me something about something you've seen in the theater recently.
Oh, I just got back from Japan, and
Yeah.
and we went to the movies a couple of times there. It was really cool.
What's the film experience like there? Do they show films in English?
No.
No.
No. So we just went and saw it in Japanese. That was fine. But they had the cinemas we went to were really cool. There was a cinema in Hiroshima, and we went and saw Your Name, Kimi no Nawa, and it was cool, man. It was it was better than I expected it to be. And then I found in Tokyo, in Shibuya, there's a film school in like a basement of a building, and then a few floors up is a cinema that does constant repertory screenings apparently. So we went and saw an old Japanese cop drama from like 1960, and it was fucking great.
Yeah.
Really interesting stylistically and directorially. It was like a lot of scenes were shot in one shot, and like there were so many scenes that started with a phone ringing and someone picking it up and then whip tilting up to their face, and they're really serious, and it goes up into this close up, and then they step out of the way, and then someone else comes in, and then there's like a wide shot with three people, the camera tilts down, and like whole scenes like that, and it made things feel really urgent and intense, and just like a great climax where like the bad guy and the criminal and the cop are like playing a game of chicken, but they don't go at each other, they just shoot at each other as they go past each other.
Because your grasp of Japanese is pretty good.
It's
like decent.
It's
would you say? Did you understand the dialogue in the film?
You get phrases and words and stuff every now and then, but it's just there's a lot to process, and I'm just not fluent.
So you were like just sort of going off the visual.
Oh yeah, you get the idea.
Visual storytelling.
Yeah. You get like you can figure it out, especially with like all those cop dramas from that time period are really similar. So
I feel that's like a similar thing with Shakespeare as well. You don't always comprehend the language.
Yeah, I'm terrible with Shakespeare.
I'm convinced that if I watch it long enough, like performed, that you sort of get in sync with the language and you start to feel a vibe for what's going on.
I never got into it. Like I just couldn't get into the stories. I didn't like the stories that much.
I always thought they were like classic and like constantly reproduced.
Yeah.
And I enjoy when you take those sorts of structures and like turn them on their head.
Oh, totally. And it's like, you know, of course, he's a big deal.
Shakespeare.
I don't know. I just wasn't. I could never get interested in it. I was interested in other shit.
Do you read many scripts?
Nah.
For pleasure?
No, not really. I don't like. Yeah, I don't like reading scripts that much. Some scripts bother me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they go too far in being like prose, and a script isn't prose. I think to me, like script like, and it's just my personal view that I like scripts that are more like haikus, that paint the most vivid picture you can, or give you the most succinct articulation of a feeling possible. I just think that to me is just more interesting. And I see a lot of excerpts of scripts and they're just written nicely. They're written well, but there are things that aren't just not visually possible.
Yeah. And how do you... Well, I guess you've only really worked with stuff that you've written, but like if you were to pick up someone else's work, what would it be like interpreting their stuff and like making decisions on... I'm not sure if I want to show it that way, like I don't feel...
Well then, because then you got to interpret it and you just hope you're the right person to interpret it, because there could be things like, you know, they fight. That could be a 5-minute fight. There could be whatever, and you know, you got to figure it out based on the characters and the actors and all that stuff. Yeah. I did a bit of second unit directing on a web series that's coming out at the Brisbane Queer Film Festival.
Ooh.
And then it'll be online. And that was a scene where two people playing in a park, and it was great because I didn't have to write anything, didn't have to shoot any people talking, and it was nice. And I was like, it kind of made me think, well, maybe be nice to do someone else's script.
I definitely think I would be interested to see your interpretation of someone else's stuff. Like,
Yeah,
because I definitely think you have a style.
I think.
Well, the collaborative effort of you and your crew.
Well, I think it's just a thing of if the writer and the director are the same person, you're inevitably gonna get some consistency.
Interesting. Lost my train of thought.
No, that's cool.
This is a nice song, though.
Yeah, this is I think it's Taiwanese.
How do you discover new music? Like, what's your process?
A lot of YouTube
Yeah.
related videos, and then you just go down a rabbit hole.
That is actually something I was thinking about asking you.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about your, like, do you subscribe to people on YouTube?
Yeah. Not a whole lot. I have the few that I like at any one point in time, and sometimes I get sick of something and unsubscribe. I just can't. I hate fucking picking through all that stuff. If I'm subscribed to too many people.
What's your like YouTube homepage look like? What kind of videos you got? Because I think it's very telling about what kind of person you are.
A lot of Criterion Collection videos. That channel is beautiful. The excerpts they post and the interviews they do. Yeah, that's my number one. I like the Needle Drop at the moment.
Oh yeah,
I like
Anthony
Fantana.
Fantana.
Yeah, he's been around for a while, but
music nerd.
best teeth in the game. His other channel is pretty good too. NPR
Oh yeah.
do some good stuff. The little mini concerts they do, and a few guys who do video essays on cinema and
Like
TV.
Nerd Rider 1 and...
Yeah, like Nerd Writer. There's like Every Frame of Painting sets the bar. I think he talks really well.
And there's another one like Now You See It? Or...
Now You See It, yeah. There's a guy, Koganoda, who does little video essays for Criterion and Fandor, I think, as well. Some stuff. Yeah, a lot of movie channels. And then there's a couple of guys in like Northern America and Canada who post just the best kind of indie rock and pop that you couldn't really hear unless you know the band, you wouldn't discover.
What are some crazy shots that you've seen in film? Because like I remember I was watching Every Frame of Painting.
Yeah.
And he was talking, I think, about like the benefits of like anime as opposed to like live action.
Yeah, because you're not physically.
That's right, and you're not physically tethered by
Yeah.
actors and physics, and you can show things. You can do shots a lot faster.
Yeah.
You know, but just a single image as opposed to a sequence or a shot, I should say.
I guess, yeah. So what were the craziest shots I've seen?
Yeah, because I was watching that video, and there was a shot from a movie called Paprika. Have you seen it?
Oh yeah, Paprika is really good.
I didn't get it. I have to admit, I tried.
I had to watch it a couple of times, but I like it. I like it a lot.
But there's a shot where the camera's going down the street, and I
Yeah.
think Paprika like walks up to the camera, and
Yeah.
she's got a shirt.
Oh, when you go into the shirt?
Yeah. Or it's like a dude on rollerblades.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
her
yeah.
in the shirt or something. But you go through the shirt,
Yeah.
and I know Paprika. If you're listening, watch Paprika because it's good. It's got a bunch of craziness. But like, what's some crazy shots that you've seen? You're just like, whoa.
I guess that's a different thing when you're talking about live action movies. But some shots like there's a shot in The Long Goodbye where the character, it's a massive like 360 panning shot. Character's coming in on a bus, he gets out, kind of zoom in on him, he's in Mexico, and he's walking around this Mexican town, and then he kind of goes off, and he walks across the screen, and he walks in front of two dogs, and the camera, and because I can tell that like this can't have been set up, and they've just lucked into this, and the camera guy had the nerve to stop, and then the main character leaves the frame, and one of these dogs starts to fuck the other one, and the camera just zooms in, and this Mexican music starts to go bum 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 bum, and it's perfect. It's perfectly timed, and that kind of shot, like, it just makes you laugh. You can't help but laugh, and it just comes at the right time of the movie. But also, like, there's some shots from Ozu movies that are just gorgeous, and sometimes gorgeous in a way that you just are really breathtaking. movies that are a little bit off the beaten track, and then you just keep going further, and eventually, you know, when you understand and when you have a better knowledge of it, you know, good movies get better, and bad movies and average movies get worse.
What's your opinion on like streaming and stuff?
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's good to have films that otherwise wouldn't be available. Like, you know, just all these movies that people might have thought were lost, or you know, you couldn't see anymore unless it was on a shitty VHS tape. Now that it's available, and people like the Criterion Collection, restoring older films is great. So I think streaming is really good for stuff like that. I'd still like, you know, it's a movie, man. You got to go to the cinema to watch it.
I do enjoy the cinema going experience.
It is good, and you just gotta, and then, you know, find a good place that you like that has a good clientele.
Dude, last time I went to Blue Room Cinnabar, so nice.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, I think because I went into the theater and there was like a big desk for near the armrest, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's for a notepad for critics. Like, pretty sure that's what it was. But yeah, dude, that's where I saw Silence, man.
Ah, okay.
Go for free.
Yeah,
free
because
tickets.
this shit's expensive, man.
Yeah, dude, I'd never go to Blue Room unless it was paid for. Always hit up South Bank for sure.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a while.
Barracks is good?
I go to the Palace Barracks, yeah. That's my pick.
Yeah, definitely. Good plug.
Good plug, Palace Barracks, but the Goma Cinema as well.
Dude, yeah.
It is the shit. It is so good.
Because they got cool stuff coming up, right?
They got great stuff. They got Ingmar Bergman at the moment, and then they have a film noir season, and I got a couple other things I can't remember. It's been a while since I looked at the program, but yeah, and they play like 35mm prints whenever they can, which is great because you really see a film, and you really see. It's a different thing. It feels better, and it always makes me a little sad because I feel like we threw away a beautiful thing that we had that didn't need to get thrown away, and you know, there's no reason for film not to be there. Digital's great, but you know, film. I don't think we should get rid of it.
Is it getting rid of, or has it been getting
projection? Totally.
Yeah.
In this country. Unless it's an older film, it's gone. In America, there's still a few places, and the 70mm thing is good, is a strong thing. So there's a few. I think there's more now than there have been in like 60 years of 70mm projectors, and that's great. And I think hopefully the 35mm stuff that's there doesn't go away because it's good, it's important, and I just really feel like it deserves to be there because it is a great medium and it is a beautiful way to watch a film and it affects you differently.
I remember the last time I saw, I had something that was with you and Al, we saw Snowpiercer.
Yeah, that was on film.
Before that, I think I saw Richard 3, dude.
Oh, is that with Kenneth Branagh?
No. Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It was really good.
It was really good. Okay.
And then I tried, because I found this, like, I think it's a series.
Yeah.
Each episode's like a different Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But they all have, like, the sort of modern, great British actors, like Benedict Cumberbatch and Eddie Redmayne.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah.
Tom Hiddleston and shit. And, like, I watched part of Benny Cumberbatch's Dickie 3. It was just so interesting seeing the Dickie 3. Yeah.
Okay.
It was just so interesting seeing the difference. But also, I guess it's the same character.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just Shakespearean dialogue, man. These people go nuts.
Oh, they do. It's fucking crazy. Oh, man.
Dude, how long have we been having an interview?
A while.
9:40. 29 minutes. Okay, here's the thing.
No, that says 58.
Are you serious?
58
Oh,
minutes.
shit. Well,
How do we wrap it up?
with ease, my friend.
Alright.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had a good chat. A bit all over the place, but really good. I had a good time.
Yeah, this is nice.
We got there.
Yeah.
My name is Chris Seydel, and I'm sitting down with Angus Kirby. Angus, please send us off.
Seydel sits down. We'll see you next time.
Hey, alright. See you next time, baby.